Greetings, world, community.
Hi.
Yay, Jonathan Stahl's here.
Eyni Ali.
Woohoo!
Eyni Jama.
Yes, all that. She's amazing. Eyni, you're amazing.
Thank you. You're amazing.
So we are out here walking in Aurora, Colorado, right?
Yep.
And you live pretty close.
Yeah, like this is like my place.
This is
I've
her.
been here for like over 6 years now.
That's right.
So it's amazing.
And Eyni is a student and a speaker and a writer and an artist and a just beacon of passion and wisdom and all the things. Eyni and I met through a mutual friend who does a lot of work in just refugee work in the city. And so I just want people to know about Eyni and her work. And so tell us about you and where you grew up and how long you've been here and
I grew up I was born in Somalia when I was like maybe 5, 6. We left for because of the violence and just loss of a family member, things like that. I grew up in Kenya maybe for like 7 years. It was amazing. School. I've been going to school there. Made a lot of friends. A lot of my childhood friends now live in Minnesota, which I was able to visit them in last summer. Just to connect with them. But I grew up in Kenya, in the refugee camp, specifically called Dadaab. And I've been there for 7 years. Went to school there. Life was, I guess, for me that was normal at the time. But going to school, juggling a lot of school and religious school, public school, private school, because I was crazy about school.
Right.
I'm very passionate about education, and I think it's amazing. So my mom was always wanted to make sure that we are educated, because she herself didn't have that at the time, or didn't get the opportunity to go to school, or maybe went a little bit, but she didn't had the opportunity to go to college. And my mom, that's something that she always wanted us to do, and I've always been passionate about education, so that was perfect. But my mom is my hero. She's she's.
What's your mom's name?
Asho.
Asho.
Her name is Asho, and she's being there. She went through so much to make us, to bring us here and allow us the opportunities that we have. And so she's my biggest supporter. She's my number one. So I came here. So with the Refugee Resettlement Agency, I think we came here 2013. February 27 is when we came to New York, and 28, which was the last day of that month, which I remember.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we came to Colorado. It was snowing, so snow was, my first time seeing snow, so that was amazing. Funny story, so I started from middle school, maybe the last 3 months or 2 months, I think, in 7th grade. And the crazy person I am, I always wear flip-flops because that's what I'm being used to. So I've never worn any boots or anything. So even though I had some, my mom was able to buy, or my brother was able to buy some because he came here before us. But I still didn't feel comfortable wearing that, so I thought I could manage the snow with flip-flops, and that was a wrong idea. So I got to experience the winter. Summer is definitely not my favorite, but winter was a little too much.
It's pretty intense here.
Oh yeah,
and you,
especially for the last maybe 5 years now, winter was crazy. This year is the first time I've ever seen winter being not so crazy.
Yeah.
Because it's been raining a lot more so than snowing.
Right.
I think that was what was cool about.
Oh my gosh. And so here we can keep walking a little bit. So you resettled through ACC, right?
No, actually.
I thought you were with ACC.
I know, actually, Lutheran Family Services was where we were resettled through, but because ACC had the youth programs.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, so
you did tell me that.
Yeah. So I got through the youth program. I got involved through the youth program because one of the staff actually, at that time, it wasn't a staff. It was a college student came together to create that, and Brenda was one of the college students at the time. So I think she was finishing her last maybe year of school,
Okay.
and she was one of the students that was a part of the program. But Erin was actually the girl that came to our school, and she gave us a flyer. She was like, "Hey, this program." And at the time, it was actually a New American School, not in Colfax, not in like Havana or Colfax. But at the time, it was in
okay.
New American School, and it was like it was more like an after-school program rather than an actual program.
Right.
And so my freshman year is when they were able to get a place in Colfax and Galena.
Okay.
Yeah, they were able to get the place, and then again, Erin came to our school, and she was like, "Hey, now we have an actual place in Colfax that you guys can come and visit." And I was like, "Perfect." So I've been
So good.
involved ever since. And at the time, they even hired when they got the place in Galena and Colfax, they hired, which was before Mango House.
Yeah.
They hired staff members, which Brenda was one of them, and it was just so amazing. It was a fun event. We did a lot of like field trips to go
Yeah.
into the mountains. And,
So good.
Like it was like amazing, and I've done a lot of like youth program with Brenda every summer.
And that's what, and that's so as some of you know, I used to work in refugee resettlement. I worked at ACC for a year, and I love it. It's just one of the most amazing communities. I've learned so much about our world and our unique unique cultures that we're all from, and all of our just different roots and different ways people live on this planet, but then how we all live together, especially as refugees just move and integrate into, for example, the city of Denver and Aurora. And so you were talking about the youth program. I mean, I'm sure that was one of your main ways to, is that how you got connected to the Colorado or the Speakers Bureau? So tell them about the Speakers Bureau.
Oh yeah, actually, I mean, like, that's how I got connected with African Community Center, ACC. But the Refugee Speakers Bureau didn't even exist at the time.
Oh.
Refugee Speakers Bureau was actually at first launched in 2016.
Oh,
and
so
then the
okay.
program actually came in 2017.
Got it.
Which I did the funny story. So I didn't know it was actually a program. I just wanted the training because
Yeah.
I wanted to improve more my public speaking, because I did speech and debate in high school. So
Okay.
I kind of like, I've been trying to get that experience, because I was bullied in middle school. I was always the awkward kid in the corner. So I just had so much, and I also didn't have a lot of close friends that like I could connect or share my worries or struggles and with my family. Like, I mean, like I said, my mom is my hero, but also I felt like I had the obligation to protect her in a way, and not really always share what's going wrong and
Yep.
what I'm feeling. And so I've always kind of kept it to myself. So I think I wanted to get that experience and train myself to kind of like be able to let loose, I guess, or like kind of be able
Yeah.
to share my fears or my struggles. And so I didn't really know how to open up. So I think that's what I needed more to kind of train. How do I speak about my stories in events where I don't feel like I have to share everything? What can I
Yeah.
keep it to myself
Right.
and feel like okay, and not feel the pressure to share everything? And not to say that I've never felt the pressure to share anything that I didn't want in any events,
Yeah.
but just in my mind, I felt like I wanted to share everything, but at the same time in my heart was like, no, this is stuff that I want to keep it personal and not really
Yes.
share. So kind of like really learn about yourself and know that it's okay to not share everything. And especially as
Yes.
a refugee, we go to a lot of traumatic stuff, and let alone children. Like,
Yeah.
children are the hardest ones, because I feel like adults, not to say adults can handle, but I mean, nobody really can handle traumatic experience, but children, like, it's even worse. But we kind of somehow get through that, thanks to obviously our parents and family and a lot of amazing people that we have in our lives. But still, like, sometimes like a lot of traumatic things can't be shared, and it's okay to not share those.
Right.
You can only share what
exactly.
you feel comfortable. And so kind of learning that was amazing for me. So that's how I kind of found out the program through Nancy, who is my amazing mentor.
Yay.
And also she's the lead for the refugee scholarship program, and now she's been helping a lot of refugee youth to be able to go to college. And I was able to get the scholarship as well.
Woohoo!
Thank you.
It's so good.
Yeah, so I mean, ACC they've been doing a lot of amazing things to support a lot of the youth, but also We Made This is a program that helps women,
I love We Made This.
Yeah, like help them sew, improve their
Yes.
sewing skills and
business skills and all those
like,
things, right? Yeah.
they're just. I mean, I think ACC is the perfect program to really showcase what a program can do for refugees, or to just not so much of like. I think it's so much about like kind of like helping them, not like. They're not obviously doing it, but it's just like they're improving and helping them to come out of their like comfort zone, to share their skills.
That's right.
We made this. They've been sewing a lot of the beautiful dresses, purse. You can name it, like it's anything. They've been sewing everything and anything, and that's amazing. But yeah, that's how I got involved with them, and now their Refugee Speakers Bureau. Last year we just had our first cohort, which I'm a part of it. And now, thank you. And now we have our new cohort almost done with their training, and the what do you call the lunch, actually, yes. The lunch is going to come up in September, I believe, which I will be posting in my page.
See, okay.
To invite people, because it's a beautiful event, and you get to meet a lot of the other amazing youth who will be a part of our new cohort, including my sister. Shout out to Junia. So it'll be amazing.
Big shout out to her sister. And so that's a perfect segue to talk about. So if you can show them your henna. Can you put your, see, go bring that closer to the, look at that beautiful work. Okay, so we just got done setting up a new henna page for her and her sister. So Eyni, you're an artist. You write, you do poetry, you're this Speakers Bureau that she was referring to is, this amazing invitation to empower voices and provide education and inspire people around refugee life and experience. So I don't know if you want to share just a little bit about why do you have a page? Why do you speak? Why do you create? Why?
I mean, I kind of earlier I kind of shared a little bit of my middle school experience, being bullied, being the awkward kid in the corner, and but to kind of share a little bit of, actually, when I was little, my family called me I was more like a comedian rather than awkward, shy kid. I was more like a comedian then, but my middle school experience kind of shut me off, and I really didn't feel like I could. I don't know. It kind of like turned off my personality. Like it kind of like shut me off in a way, because I'm actually the crazy person. Like all my friends now, they always call me crazy because I'm just like I'm really crazy. And for me,
I'm really crazy.
Yeah, like for me to call myself shy was just a crazy thing. I'm like, I can't think of myself being shy, like, because I'm not. I mean, public speaking is definitely not my strongest, but shy is definitely far from what I really am. And so my middle school experience kind of, I feel like, shut me off, and I was like, no, like I want to use this experience to not put me down, but to kind of bring me out. So beautiful. That was kind of like, I've always think about like sharing my experience in a way to empower others and to show myself that I'm more than my story. I'm more than where I came from. I'm more than, like, I don't know, like it's just, I wanted to do that, but also I was afraid. I was like, I don't know. I was like, I can't share my experience. I want to keep my stories. I want to keep it to myself. But deep down, I didn't want to keep everything to myself. Of course, there's stuff that I didn't want to share, but at the same time, I wanted to use my bullying experience to kind of like empower other youth, because I was thinking about it. One day I was just sitting down, and I was like, I even wrote about one of my poems about like my experience and being a Muslim, and it's just like, I was like, I don't know, I don't want to use this. Like I thought about it. I was like, if I got bullied, I know I'm not the only one. I'm not the only Muslim girl that was bullied, like, or even just any youth, any refugee youth. I'm not the only one who was bullied. So I wanted to be able to, I was like, how can I use my experience in a way that I can empower others and let others know that they're not the only one who went through that, but they can also use that to empower themselves, and not in a negative way. Because a lot of times bullying, like, how does it happen? Like, students feel down, they, experience something traumatic, and they want to, anger that, like their anger, they want to take that anger on someone else, and that shouldn't be it shouldn't be that way. Like, you can use that anger that you have in a positive way.
Beautiful.
And I think that's what I wanted to do, and that's how I kind of, poetry was my way of expressing myself. I was like, you know what, I want to write my experience, but I don't want to share it.
That's
And then slowly I was like, oh, I want to share this one, I want to share this
and
one.
then this, and then
yeah, exactly. That's how it kind of, and my shout out to my teacher, Miss Farr, she's being encouraging and persistent, because she was like, I want to invite you. It was like at the end of my sophomore. She was like, I did a portfolio project, a portfolio poem in my class, and she was like, I really want you to be a part of my the speech and debate, because she was also the coach and my sophomore year English teacher. So she was like, I want you to be a part of it, and I was like, no, I don't want to be. And she even sent me another letter again in the summer, and like she was so persistent, but I finally ended up joining for 2 years, my junior and senior year, and that was, I think, the best thing that I can think of in high school, because that was one way that I really started, speaking, because when I started joining speech and debate, then that's when I started performing for ACC's youth program,
Yep.
which was called now it's called East Colfax Youth Program now. That's what it's
Okay.
called. So that's when I like doing a lot of the fundraise events, speaking, like sharing my stories and my experience, and like, but honestly, like my speech and debate was definitely what got me to
kicked it off.
to talk and to really share my experience and my stories.
It's so awesome. So, we are working on just further moving her Facebook page. So, how do they find you on Facebook? What do they search? It's Eyni.
Oh yeah,
right?
Eyni. Yeah, so it's EYNI
Mm-hmm.
and Jama, JAMA. And then you could, I think, if you search that, you get both my personal and Facebook page, both of them. You'll get
Yep.
both of them. But the professional one has CAYNI at the end.
Yes.
And my personal page it's CAYNI-EYNI Jama, because I wanted to combine. So a little bit of story. My actual Somali name is CAYNI, but the English version, because people would have called me Cayni, but that's
Right.
not how you pronounce my name.
I think I did. I just do that earlier?
Yeah.
I was
so-
like, "Why?" So it's Eyni Cayni, right? And I'm like, "Dude,
Yeah.
she just told you that like a couple months ago."
Yeah, it's both my name, and so I
It's
wanted
the
to
same.
keep. Yeah, I wanted to keep
Yeah.
the actual Somali name, they're both the same. It's just like this one is the C. With the one with the C is the way you would
The original, like the Somali
original,
version.
yeah, the Somali original way you would write it, and I wanted to keep that as well. But I also wanted to keep the way I have all my documents, which is EYNI. So I wanted to kind of keep both. So that's why if you see that, it's both my name, but it's just that's a
Beautiful.
little story about it.
No, that's
my
awesome.
last name.
So if you're on Facebook, follow, because she's going to be posting her poems, her different speaking engagements, her just other stories and things that are going on, things that she learns, educating people, connecting people. So Eyni, for an audience that that's just meeting you, and just maybe they're just learning more about some of the things you've talked about, learning about refugee reality for different young people or for families, or maybe just really better understanding like Muslim life in this country. Anything. What are a couple things you want to leave with people who are watching?
I think I don't know. I feel like a lot of audiences don't always get to meet with refugees or Muslims, or in general, like in person.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's so much misconception that people has. But I think for me I think a lot of the times I want people to know that, like, yes, we might have different stories, and I'm sure everyone has their own stories. But I think like we are connected and we're similar, and we have so much more common than we really think about. And I think like just like as simple as like some maybe TV shows or books that you read, or like movies that you watch. Like there's some we're all humans at the end of the day.
Yes.
Like it's not like we're any different. And I think there's just so much misconception, and I hope that people get to learn from refugee in person, or just even maybe through social media, rather than when I'm saying with social media, I mean like chat with them, like
Right.
message them, exchange information, like what you
Relationship.
like, just like simple stuff,
Yeah.
not what you see through media,
Right.
which is just a crazy, not so common. And I think I just wanted to share a quick thing about
Yeah.
what I wrote about my project in actually college now. I just finished my first year of college.
Woohoo!
So yeah, I wrote an research actually talking about how what we don't really talk about is that when you think about terrorism, like you always see that like from Middle East or Muslims or other things, that we also have there's all kind of terrorism in the world, and so I think it's just people have misconception. And one thing that I wrote about was school shootings. That is just, that's also a form of terrorism. You know, so much kids who left their families going to school didn't came back home, or came back home, or were taken to the hospital severe injured. And I think that's that's another one too. So
Right.
I think people have to just understand that, like, there's not one single community who are just bad.
Yeah.
Like, every community, we have goods and bads, and we don't always have to focus on the bads. We have so much goods and so much other things going on that we should be more focused on, which is our commons, not our differences, because that's what we always focus on, because we have so much similarities and so much in common that we think of. And the only way to really find out is if you communicate or chat or reach out to people. And I think we're so friendly, and I think don't be afraid to reach out. If you see someone somewhere, don't be afraid to say hi, ask them their names,
Yes.
and just to talk to them. And I'm sure they will be open to talk to you as well. So don't be afraid to reach out to others and have just a conversation, because that's really how it starts. It just starts with simple hi, how are you doing?
That's
and it
right.
goes on to a great friendship, or just in general.
All of that.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That's what this is all about.
Yeah.
I mean, so Eyni and I talk about this all the time. I mean, it's just it's relationship. I keep thinking of these words, going into relationship with what we desire to know.
Yep.
And that's exactly what this is. So,
100%.
and that is all
Yep.
of her creative wisdom and her passion and her work. So follow her page. I'm going to link it wherever I put this video so you can stay connected. And just keep an eye for her writings and her speaking opportunities. And also, we just posted the page for her and her sister who do henna. So if you want like some awesome henna coming your way for
Yeah.
birthdays, events,
Anything, parties,
anything,
weddings.
parties. So
Yep.
thank you, Eyni, for joining
Thank you.
us. Okay, peace everyone. Thanks for being with us. All right, sweet.